So many of my students ask me, what should I play with my left hand? Like, I already play chords with my right hand, so what am I supposed to do with my left hand? You know, the left hand doesn't have to be complicated to sound great. If you know a few simple and beautiful patterns that you can use, you'll have a beautiful accompaniment in no time. So in this video, I want to show you 10 amazing and simple ideas that you can do on the left hand for your pop rock songs. This video is going to be divided into two parts. So part 1, I'll talk about pattern music rhythmic ideas. And in part 2, I'll talk about beautiful arpeggios ideas. And if you'd like to have the detailed PDF version of all these ideas, you can get it down below in the description for free. Alright, so let's dive in. So for this video, I'm gonna be using the chord progression 1-6-4-5 in C major to share these different concepts. So I'll be using the C major chord, C, E, G, the A minor chord, A, C, and E, the F major chord, F, A, and C, and the G major chord, G, B, and D. So the first idea for the left hand is going to be using the classic dotted quarter note and 8-note pattern that we can hear everywhere. So let me show you an example of how it's going to sound like. So this one is really a classic one. We can hear so many bass players, so many songs that is actually using that rhythm. So it's pretty simple here. I'm just gonna keep, by the way, very easy right hand, just quarter note for the whole video. I might be using a chord inversion, but I'm gonna keep it very simple over here because I wanna focus on the left hand. So we're gonna have this rhythm here. So it's 1, 2, and 3, 4. So I'm ending this measure with a half note. 2 and 3, 4. So basically we have these two together. This one is on the up of the beat and back with these two together. And you used this pattern on each of these chords. So it goes like 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3, 4. On F. Keep the root note of each chord. Like this. And a cool variation of this one, if you'd like, is adding the octaves here. It's the same pattern, just like 1, 2, and 3, 4. So it sounds bigger, and it's very cool if you want to use it in a different section in the song. 2 and 3. Alright, let's move on to the second pattern, and this one is one of my favorite. Let me show you how it sounds like. Alright, so this one is using a chromatic approach before each of these chords. And it's so cool because I love this effect. So what's going on right here is like, I'm starting with a dotted quarter note and going here with the 8th note. So it's like 1, 2, and 3, 4. But then right before moving on to the next chord, I'm actually creating a chromatic approach a whole step lower than the chord I'm going to. So if I'm aiming for A minor, I'm starting on G and I'm doing G, G sharp, and A minor like this. So it's 1, 2, and 3, 4, moving up like this. So it's like 1, 2, and 3, 4. And then for F, we're going to F for the next one. So we could start on E flat, like this. And these are all 16th notes, so they go pretty fast. And to G, like this, so F, F sharp, and G. And there you go. And by the way, right now, it's just an exercise, so I'm adding this pattern to each of these chords, but you don't have to do that. You could just add this once in a while, just when you feel like it, and it's just gonna create a beautiful accompaniment on the left hand if you do that. So just as an exercise, try to add it to all the chords you're playing, but then you can just pick and choose and add it to some cool places. All right, let's now move on to the idea number 3, and it sounds like this. Alright, so this one is a very simple accompaniment that is pretty cool if you want to add just a little bit of something in your playing. So I'm playing 1 and 5 of each chord, and I'm just moving with 8 notes with these 2 same notes. So it's like 1, 2, and 3, 4, and like that. 2 and 3, 4, and moving to A minor. So same thing, 1 and 5, 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 5. And G. Just like this. All right, let's move on to the idea number 4, and this one sounds like this. So I actually love using this idea because I feel like it adds so much, it adds movement in your left and it's really cool to use. It's pretty simple. We're only using the octaves of the root of the chord you're playing, and then we're moving with the 5th in the middle. But the main difference here is the rhythm idea that you're using, the rhythm pattern. So these are going to be 16 notes. So they're quite fast when you're playing it. So it's like 1, 2. This. You could do the same pattern with 8 notes, by the way. It could be like 1, 2. That's another idea of variation that you can do, but I love adding 16th note. Like that. Same thing on A minor. It's a cool effect. F, this, and to G. C major. So the notes are simple, but the pattern, the rhythm idea is pretty cool to add. All right, now pattern number 5. So we're gonna get closer to creating a melodic line with the left hand. So it's gonna sound just like this. Alright, for this one, we're going to be using the pattern 1, 6, 5 using the notes of the scale of the key we're in. So if I start on C, we're going to go with 1, 6, and 5. And the pattern is pretty simple. It's the classic do re quarter note, 8 notes, and half note here. So we have 1, 2, and 3, 4. When we move on to A minor, very important to be using the natural minor here because that's gonna sound weird if I add the F sharp that is in the key of A. So A minor, F, and E, going to F. It's D, C, and to G, E, and D. So 1, 6, and 5 like this. Very simple, but it's a beautiful idea that you can add to your playing. Just as a reminder, if you haven't done so yet, I've created a PDF version of this video including all the different left-hand pattern ideas that you can use. So go get it, it's down below in the description. Amazing, we're now at part 2 and we're gonna dive into 5 amazing arpeggio patterns that you can do on the left hand. So the first one is gonna sound just like this. So So this one is a classic piano arpeggio pattern, and it's basically the 1, the 5, and the 1 on the left hand. So on C, we're gonna have C, G, and C, just like that. You can either play it low here or higher here. And I'm using 8 notes and a dotted half note for the top here. So it's like 1 and 2, 3, 4. We can do the same thing on A minor. 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2, 3, 4. And on G. Like that. It's honestly a pattern that I use all the time and that is pretty simple to add to your playing. Alright, now for the arpeggio number 2. This one is so beautiful. So I'm gonna show you how it sounds like. Alright, so this pattern is absolutely beautiful and it's using the 1, the 5, and the 3 on the top for this arpeggio. So if I go right here, the left hand is gonna go with all 8 notes, but we have C, G, and E, and this is 1, 5, and 3 of the chord. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and let's do the same thing on A minor. 1, 5, 3. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and on F 3 and on G. I love this pattern. It's very pretty. Alright, let's move on to the third arpeggio idea for your left hand, and it sounds like this. Alright, so this one is using actually a third interval on the top of the arpeggio. And we have 1, 5, 1. Then we're adding the 9th note of the chord to create this passing note. And we're going to 3 and 5. So it's 1, 5, 1, 2, or the 9, 3, and 5 on the top together. And we're going back like this, so. Go. And on the A minor, on the F, and on G, like that. All right, for the arpeggio number 4, it sounds like this. Alright, so for this one, we're using the pattern 1, 5, 1, 2, 3, then 5, then 1, then 5. Just like that. All 8 notes, same thing on A minor, 1, 5, 1, 2, 3, 5. There we go, that is a very beautiful arpeggio. Alright, now we're at the last pattern and the last arpeggio for this video, and it sounds just like this. So for this one, I'm simply adding a little bit of rhythm in the concept of arpeggio. And what's happening here is like I have 1, 5, 1. So these are only the notes I'm using, but it's gonna be 2 8 notes, a quarter note tied to the next 8 notes back here, like this. So it's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and just like that. So that can be a very cool variation of an arpeggio that you can use in your songs. Alright, thank you so much for watching, and if you've learned anything valuable from this video, please subscribe to this channel and like the video. It will help the channel grow and help more keyboard players just like you. Alright, bye for now.